Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video, and we have a massive swash of class balance tuning. If you thought it was over because, last week was kind of empty, it absolutely isn't. We have completely game-breaking balance changes coming through, so let's cover them. Who are the winners? Who are the losers? Is your class dead? Is your spec suddenly the best? This is the place to be to find that out. So with scheduled weekly maintenance on February 7th, we intend to deploy a number of tuning adjustments to specializations based on their performance and endgame content. And due to the nature of our internal testing, some of these changes will appear in the 10.0.7 PTR between now and February 7th. This thread is for changes that will go live into the game in the version that is next week and not for 10.0.7. So for Blood Death Knights, big buffs for damage. Heartstrike 15%, Blood Plague 15%, Blood Boil 15%, Death and Decay 20%, Shattering Bone damage 5%, Sanguine Ground damage while inside Death and Decay increased to 6% up from 5%. There's some possibilities here for Blood in PvP with all of these damage buffs. I'm going to be real because we're already seeing Brewmaster in PvP, but this is obviously for Mythic Plus or rating where Blood is not up to par and it is getting monstrous buffs to compensate for that fact. Frost Death Knights, what's going on with you? I feel like we never get to talk about you, but we're going to get to talk about you this week. Unleashed Frenzy duration increased to 10 seconds up from 6. Cleaving Strikes Obliterate now hits 2 additional targets, only was 1. Frost Fever damage has been increased by 15%. Glacial Advance damage has been increased by 20%. Frost Strikes damage has been increased by 10%. Frost Whelp's Aid damage has been increased by 100%. This might be a lot more desirable. Frost Scythe damage has also been increased by 35%, so targeting some talents that may possibly not being selected as much, buffing up your cleave damage, buffing up your sustain damage. Overall, seems pretty good for Frost DK this week. They didn't forget about you. You're still there. It's not all about Rets. Rets are not stealing the whole show. You getting some quick buffs right here for Frost DKs. Guardian Druid, armor from Iron Fur increased by 20%. Enforced Fur now increases armor from Iron Fur by 15% up from 8. And Barkskin's damage reduction has been increased to 10 up from 5. Ursock's Fury now grants an Absorb Shield based on 50% of the damage dealt by Thrash and Maul up from 30%. Guardian Druids are going to be gnarly in World PvP. Reinvigoration's Frenzied Regeneration cooldown reduction increased to 20 to 40%. They're going to be impossible to kill. Layered main chance to proc increased to 10 to 20% from 5 to 10. And Lunar Beam Healing, man, they really want this thing to be a thing. Lunar Beam Healing increased to 130% and its cooldown has been reduced to 1 minute. We are keeping a close eye on variances in survivability across tank specs. These changes are intended to alleviate some difficulties Guardian Druids have been experiencing with certain damage types, as well as targeting some underperforming talents which were not delivering meaningful survivability improvements. So again, keeping an eye on these tank specs in PvP because Guardian's probably back in World PvP. I'm going to be real here. For Resto Druid, 3% healing buff, but not going to apply in PvP combat. Or feels bad about this because the new talent trees in 10.0.7 are a monster nerf to Resto Druid. I covered them in another video that I'll have it linked at the end of this one. Preservation Evokers are getting a 5% healing reduction, which is probably necessary given how they're performing in basically all aspects of the game. For Hunters, Beastmaster is getting a 5% damage buff. I don't know if that's 100% necessary for you, at least when it comes to PvP, but that's going to be good for you. Marksmanship Hunter also getting a 5% damage buff. Kind of feel like you almost need more than 5%, but definitely not going to scoff at getting something. Survival Hunter, also a 5% damage increase to your all of your abilities as well as your pet abilities. So Hunter in general, they're aware of you. They're giving you just an overall little juice here moving forward. For Mistweaver Monk, you're getting 3% healing increased, 5% Vivify healing increased. Clouded Focus now increases healing and decreases mana cost by 20% for Enveloping Mist and Vivify. Peaceful Mending now increases the healing of Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist by 25 to 50%, up from 15 to 30%. Spinning Crane Kick's damage has been increased by 15%. Ancient Concordance increases the chance for Rising Sun Kick to reset by 5 to 10%, up from 3 to 6. And Lesson of Doubt increases healing and damage by up to 40%, up from 5%. So just overall mana reductions in your spells, overall healing buffs. You're going to be getting instant Enveloping Mist as well in 10.0.7 with some of the changes that are coming through. So again, some love given to the Mistweavers. I don't know if this is enough. Again, the main problem for Mistweaver in PvP is just that your Fist Weaving is not a smart heal. It just heals random targets regardless if it's the lowest or not. That is the main problem for at least PvP. Now in Mythic Plus, just overall tuning, some extra AoE damage is definitely going to help. Prop Paladins, Oh no, dude. Avengers shield damage increased by 10%. Blessed Hammer and Hammer of the Righteous Crusader Strike damage increased by 30%. Hammer of Wrath damage. Dude, Prop Paladin is disgusting. Oh my god, that's gross. Oh my god, you're gonna be so disgusting in PvP. Oh my god, that's way more gross than Guardian. Oh my god. Oh my god, with all the auto procking bubbles. I don't know how you guys keep getting away with it. I don't know how you guys keep getting away with it. We'll have to wait for the PP changes. Maybe that gets counteracted because that's crazy. Priest, Holy is just getting a 3% healing increase. You like that? Holy Priest definitely like slightly behind the other healers, but honestly, the healers in PvP at least are pretty almost equal in competitiveness. For Resto Shaman, or just Shaman in general. So Ellie and Enhancement, a healing surge buff by 10% and a chain heal buff by 10%. So pretty nice casted healing buff. Resto Shaman definitely needed some help there, at least when it came to PvP. Also, Healing Wave, just a 10% buff. Healing Rain, a 10% buff. And Overflowing Shores healing increased by 10%. So just another buff up here for Resto Shaman, trying to get them more into the competition. Again, main problem is Assassination Rogue damage is just way too high. Everybody is oppressed by them, but Resto Shaman even more so. So hopefully there's some nerfs for that. We'll have to wait and see. For Warlock, Inquisitor's Gaze Fell Barrage has been increased by 35%, and Inquisitor's Gaze no longer casts Fell Blast. Summon Soulkeeper damage has been increased by 35%, and the developer notes read as Inquisitor's Gaze and Summon Soulkeeper are not contributing to the Warlock damage profile as much as we'd like. After this adjustment, we'll continue to watch Warlock's overall performance, and we'll make further adjustments if needed. For Destruction, you're getting a Soulfire damage buff by 20%. I've seen a couple of people picking this up, and that makes that ability seem like it could be really scary in PvP. Incinerate, 5% damage buff. That's a really good buff right there for you in PvP. Destro is already doing really well. And for Demonology, you're getting a buff here. Demonology's damage has definitely fallen off a bit after all of the nerfs, so I think this is fine. Wild Imp damage up 15%, and potentially Vile Fiend becoming more competitive. I don't remember what talent this one's competing with, if it's even an option for you to flip to it, but we feel that both Destruction and Demonology could use some improvements to their overall contribution in single target situations. These adjustments are specifically targeting talents that we feel could be more competitive, while also putting additional power into rotational spells. Now, player versus player. What's going on here with this? Nelthorax, Enemy of the Sky, now grants 1% attack speed in PvP combat, down from 5. This is likely a PvE item that I'm glad that I didn't know existed and got nerfed without me even knowing that it existed, because we don't need that RNG loot farming for things in PvP anymore. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So this is good. I like that. Havoc Demon Hunter. Restless Hunter talent damage bonus for the next Blade Dance and Death Sweep has been reduced by 40% in PvP combat. We've continued to see the potent potential burst provided by Restless Hunter much higher than we would like, especially in combination with Essence Break and the Hunt. I am finally not going to get quicker, swifter, picker, upper by Havoc Demon Hunters, maybe. Oh my, just every game, dude. Every game, dude. Oh my god, maybe it's not going to be the case anymore. Guardian Druids, you're getting a 12% healing buff on your Frenzied Regen. Wait, no. Reduced by 50% was 62. Isn't that a buff? That reads as a buff. Somebody tell me if that's not a buff in the chat, please. But I'm pretty sure that reads as a 12% buff. Because it used to be reduced by 62, now it's only reduced by 50. Which is probably crazy. Evoker. Living Flame healing increased by PvP combat by 30%. That seems really unnecessary here. We'll have to wait and see. Verdant Embrace healing increased by 20% in PvP combat. These are what? Oppressing Roar increases the duration of CC by 30%, trying to make that talent a little more competitive, as basically I don't think anybody's taking it. Developers notes, this is intended to offset the above noted game-wide 5% healing reduction by targeting abilities that we would like to see more prominent in Preservation Evoker's PvP healing profile. Additionally, Oppressing Roar has not been a valuable talent point as we'd hoped, so we are slightly increasing its effectiveness. I do not really agree that this needed to be buffed. I feel like this is like one of their best heals. And the 5% healing nerf, you're in a way better spot after this. I feel like you're in a way better spot. And also, does this affect Devastation? Because that's pretty juicy for your overall healing as Devastation as well. For Hunter, Beast Mastery, Stormwings Harrier's Camouflage 4-piece now increases damage for your next kill command in PvP by 10%, down from 20%. Likely, again, compensating for the fact that you got a 5% damage buff across the board here as Beast Mastery. So this is probably not going to be too much of an impact. Now for Marksmanship, what are these numbers? Where did these come from? Rapid Fire damage increased by 15%. Aim Shot, 15% increase. Chimera Shot, 30%. Unerring Vision, critical strike damage bonus effectiveness reduced by 50% PvP combat. Somebody's got to let me know what Unerring Vision is. Maybe they tell us here. With the removal of double tap, Marksmanship Hunter damage has been lower than we would like to see, so we are increasing several main rotational abilities while decreasing Unnearing Vision with the goal of higher sustained damage. I think the goal here, the aim is correct. I need you guys to let me know in the 100 players in the comments, in the comments down below what this is, because if this is like monstrously out of proportion, but 5% overall damage buff and just buffing your casted spells. I've been watching some Marksmanship Hunter gameplay at high rating. Feel like these are hitting the right spells in terms of buffs, but this nerf, I'm not sure if it completely destroys you. For Mistweaver Monk, Healing Sphere PvP talent now triggers the Dispel backlash effects from Unstable Affliction and Vampiric Touch. Healing increased by 320%. Oh, they are bringing back the spheres. This change is to have more consistency among Dispel effects that are intended to require careful consideration of risks and benefits of dispelling it. Additionally, we felt that the healing on Healing Sphere has been too weak. So bringing back, I don't know if we're going to see, the type of orb beam we saw in Mists of Pandaria, but again, all those buffs we saw on top of that and potentially this, we'll have to wait and see. For Shadow, oh, what is this? Psyfiend was stacking with other similar effects? Psyfiend's healing reduction effects appear mechanically similar to many others, but we're stacking with such effects and each other in a way that was not clearly communicated to players and yet was having a significant impact on which specializations were being favored and how often overperforming in PvP. We're standardizing their behavior to follow the same rule as the similar effects. Hopefully, when we look at Assassination, that's going to be the same case. So that's a pretty big hit for Shadow, and that's pretty much all you had going for you was Psyfiend. I didn't even know that it was stacking. That's actually crazy. This might be significantly weaker, and this is one of your main ways to win, so this might be really bad for you. Assassination, what is it? Oh my god, the 4-piece is getting annihilated. Bleed damage is gonna be reduced by 50% in PvP combat. The 4-piece has been way too strong for Assassination. And Wound Poison Deathmark version healing reduction no longer stacks with similar effects. All that healing reduction stacking together with monstrous amounts of damage. Assassination was absolutely wiping people out. Now they didn't look at mobility. They didn't look at the fact that you got 2 charges of the Shiv, 2 charges of Shadow Step is what I mean. So you might still be in a good place, I would think, with how high your damage was overall, and they only nerfed the set bonus. Developers note, the Wound Poison from Deathmark healing reduction effects appears mechanically similar. This is literally the same verbatim as the Psyfiend that they're talking, so we're standardizing the behavior to follow same rules as similar effects. For Restoration Shaman, damage dealt to Earthen Wall Totem caused by damage absorbed by pets is reduced by 90%. The intent for this adjustment is to make Earthen Wall Totem feel more impactful as a defensive ability. As we noted, it was being destroyed too quickly in scenarios where teammates have pets. Interesting. I didn't know that's how it interacted with pets. Maybe Earthen Wall is going to be a real button, but how many classes with pets were destroying shamans, right? Like, it's Hunter, Demo Lock, DK? I mean, DKs do like... I feel like this is pretty minor. All of the buffs we saw above for PvE that impact you are likely going to have more impact. And for Affliction... Unstable Affliction's backlash damage has been increased by 35%. After our recent changes to normalize Unstable Affliction's backlash damage, we're seeing it get dispelled frequently. Our intent is for dispelling Unstable Affliction to require careful consideration of the risks and benefits, and its damage was not fulfilling that. And Affliction has kind of been falling off more and more, it seems like that. So adding some Dispel protection here and bringing Affliction as a valued class for Dispel protection, I think is a really good idea. But you're certainly not getting the types of buffs that Destro is getting. Are you kidding me right now? Chaos Bolt damage increased by 40% in PvP combat. Resolved an issue that caused Bane of Havoc PvP talent to deal more damage than intended. Okay, so that's kind of a nerf. We're addressing a bug with Bane of Havoc that was causing Havoc to deal full damage instead of the intended 60%. Ooh, that seems like a really big nerf, which was a significant nerf to the spec in PvP. Chaos Bolt has not been as threatening as intended in Dragonflight, so we're increasing its damage to compensate for the bug fix. Fell Fissure PvP talent healing reduction no longer stacks with other effects. I didn't know that this one was stacking. That's actually crazy. This is the type of stuff that's like going on behind the scenes. We don't even know what's going on. And this could have been effects that people were really overwhelming people with. I don't even know if you were running Fell Fissure, though, as much, because you were spamming Incinerate and Instant Conflag, taking the Conflag honor talents. So this is just in line, keeping that consistent with everything else. This might actually be a nerf. With all the damage buffs they just got, but this, they either might just end up in the same spot, or maybe they're absolutely crazy. We'll have to wait and see. What's going on with Arms Warrior? Oh, I don't like what they're doing here. Oh, wait. Do I like what they're doing here? What is that? Executioner's Precision is now 30% effective in PvP combat. We need some warriors in the comments down here. I've even been playing Arms Warrior, but I don't remember what Executioner's Precision is. Martial Prowess is now 33% effective in PvP combat, down from 50. Overpowered is just getting a buff by 20%. And Slam, they're trying to make Slam more valuable. We've seen Mortal Strike come to represent too much of Arms Warrior's damage in PvP. Additionally, it often results in spikier damage than we're comfortable with, so we're moving towards an overall rebalance across several abilities. Okay, I mean, that might mean that the bleed build is more viable. Anything that's targeting Mortal Strike is going to be nerfing Unhinged. I was really having fun blade storming and one-shotting people, but I guess they don't want that. But if it gets the warrior into a healthier place with overall damage, and we're seeing nerfs now towards assassination, that was one spec that was really keeping it in line. I think I'm going to kind of be okay with it, but I'm going to have to readjust my talent tree as a result of that. Some pretty big nerfs there. Massive changes. Definitely, they're not giving up on the tuning, it seems, with this round. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. What do you think of these changes? Any of these specs jumping out for you right now? To me, it's Marksmanship Hunter. That's jumping off the page. Demon Hunter Stonks might be going down. Rest of Shaman's going up. Mistweaver's going up. Hunters are looking good. Some of these tank specs must be gnarly. And don't forget, they didn't forget Frost. They didn't forget you. But other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I will catch you in the next one.